Hello everyone, I'm Ben from Hack Engineering and you're joining us today for another video about the HE140i. Today's video is going to be all about the rear end of the M140i and R1 in particular. So we've done a video before showing Powerflex subframe inserts, which are a really great product, and they fill the voids in the standard bushes, which really helps with the deflection across the rear end, which these really suffer with, especially when you start increasing power. Now that we're looking at a bit more power, a bigger turbo and whatnot, it's time to really think about what we do next, especially as we're using this on track. From standard to the inserts is a huge difference, and what we're looking to do is really take it up another notch with Powerflex Black Series rear subframe bushes as a complete subframe bush rather than an insert. So we get rid of all the flimsy standard rubber and replace it with nice hard polyurethane. And while we're at it, we're also going to fit some AKG differential bushes, which are the same 95A durometer polyurethane. Should make a really nice difference in really stiffening up the rear end and stopping the rear axle walking. So we'll get to work and we'll come back to you with the results and see how it drives afterwards. An added little bonus, we've also had a spare subframe powder coated green to match the car, so it should all look really nice and smart once done. The subframe's now out of the car, so we're just going to show you a few of the bits and bobs about it that will explain some of the difference we're going to make with the new bushes. These aren't too bad to get out of the car. Unlike some of the older E8X and whatnot, the brake lines don't run across the subframe, so it actually means you can leave the brake calipers essentially in situ, drop the subframe out. You don't have to be bleeding the brakes afterwards and whatnot. It's obviously still quite involved, but not the worst job in the world. So onto these bushes, it's quite interesting. None of these are really particularly perished or anything. The car hasn't done massive mileage. It's not particularly old, so fairly normal wear and tear for a 4 or 5 year old car. But yeah, it's quite interesting to see this is the front of the subframe, and you can see just how much movement there is in that bush. And I'm really not trying that hard. Obviously this is where the insert comes in, where the insert fills that void and really helps stop some of that movement. But it shows you really part of the problem with the standard car, especially when you're starting to put power through it with the whole subframe walking around. We can also show you the diff front bushes as an idea of how much difference the inserts make. So this is the Powerflex Black Series insert that we had in before, and this is the standard bush. It's quite a bit of very easy movement there. And if I apply the same amount of effort to this, barely any movement, just to show really what an effective product they are. However, they do have their limitations. They are designed to be a nice, easy product to fit, do make a huge difference, but ultimately what we're now going to be doing with the new subframe is we've got rid of the complete bush, so there is no void at all in there, and it's a solid Powerflex bush, so it's all polyurethane. With the new bushes in there, there'll be next to no movement, but without it being horrendously noisy in the car. Also, unlike rubber, polyurethane doesn't perish because it's essentially a plastic, so it'll basically last the lifetime of the car. And yeah, absolutely love the Powerflex products and the AKG products, and looking forward to seeing what a difference it will make out on the road. Andy's now going to get the new subframe fitted with all of the existing arms and everything like that, get it all back into the car, and then start getting it back down and onto its wheels. As you can see, it's definitely not summer anymore. It was -8 when I got to work this morning. It's absolutely freezing. In some ways that's a good thing. We've had plenty of time to test out the rear subframe changes. So it's done plenty of sort of local mileage, various smaller road trips. Also driven the car to Italy and back, and we've done 2 track days I think at Goodwood, one in the wet, one in the dry. Really happy with it. So probably the best way of showing you that is if we jump in the car and go for a little drive and show you the changes it's made. Frame bushes, So you've seen Andy fitting all the subframe bits. Install's really not too bad. Obviously it's not going to be a job you do on your driveway at home, but as far as subframe swaps and moving bits around goes, really not bad at all. Definitely made all the more easy by the fat Powerflex bushes and those AKGs just pushed in by hand. It's such a winner when you're switching something to poly bushes. Like, you know, you're not then using specialist tools to get all the bits back together. Yeah. The question on everyone's mind is probably, are the full bushes worth it over inserts? Oh, I don't know if I have a straightforward answer. I would say yes. The subframe inserts are a really good product just because they are so little labour to fit, and they do make a huge difference. But if you are serious about making a 140 handle, it has to be full subframe bushes. Another thing you might be wondering is if, you know, by the time you got the subframe partially dropped to do the inserts, is it worth just doing the little bit extra to do the full bush? Unfortunately not quite that simple. As always with standard bushes, they are an absolute nightmare to get out. But yeah, it's quite a bit of work, and not very nice work to get the old bushes out. Not the end of the world, you know, it's all doable and we've got all the right tools to do it, but a little bit time consuming. But what we are doing is keeping the old subframe from this as a spare. So if you're looking to have the work done and want the car turned around in quite a quick time, what we can do is get that all prepared for you with the bushes you want, so that we can literally just drop your subframe out, put the replacement one in, and we'll do that as an exchange. I mentioned we've had this car on track a couple of times since doing all the subframe work, and the difference in the car is night and day. I can't get over what a difference they've made, especially a fast track, you know, fast sort of high grip track like Goodwood. I never thought the old subframe insert sort of setup was bad at all, and you know, I still stand behind the inserts, but the difference with this in terms of predictability of the car, and even the sort of balance of it, where you're not trying to work around a rear end that is a little bit compromised, was just massive. I can't get over how much more enjoyable the car is with the subframe work done. On the road there's a little bit of diff whine that comes through, but it's perfectly dailyable. I would have absolutely no qualms in using this every day if that's what I felt like doing, and I've kind of pushed the limit of that in some ways by doing a 2,000 mile round trip in this car to Italy and back. And yeah, there's absolutely no sacrifice in comfort other than a very slight bit of diff whine. It really is amazing actually that BMW chose such floppy rear bushes to begin with, when there's no real downside to having a bush in there that's quite a bit harder. It's just a win-win. If it sounds like there's quite a bit of NVH in the video and it's quite loud in here, that's the AR ones we've got on it, not the bushes. If we put the standard wheels back on it, there's literally no difference. So to summarise the rear subframe work we've done in terms of handling and the stability of the car and everything that goes with it, massive plus. I'd highly recommend it. Disadvantages of it, obviously it's a fair bit of labour, not as bad as it could be. It's not a bad job getting the subframe in and out, but just getting the old bushes out, etc. Yeah, the other disadvantage is NVH, but it's such a minor one. Yeah, I wouldn't let it put anyone off. And do bear in mind as well that this is Black Series. If you went for their Road Series, you'd probably lose a little bit of that NVH, but in all honesty, there's so little difference in it between standard all the way up to what we've got now that I'd be tempted to go to the Black Series. But yeah, over the moon with it. Definitely one of those mods that you just don't look back from. It's epic, so really chuffed. We are running a little bit behind on the YouTube channel, so we've actually got loads of footage of this car on track and doing various other bits and bobs, so keep an eye out for those soon, where we can really show the differences a bit more and just show how bloody effective this car is becoming on track. So keep your eyes peeled for those, along with those of other upgrade videos, and we'll catch you next time.